nothing about essential oils. I worked in the corporate world, and natural healthcare was just not really on my radar. And I met up with an old friend of mine, and just who'd left. She's called Vanessa, and she'd become a qualified nutritionist and various health things. So I mentioned to her that my son, who was 10 at the time, was getting these really intense regular health about 2 or 3 times a week. And I was sort of really at my wit's end, because I'd taken him to have his eyes tested, I'd taken him to the doctors, and all they would say was just give him Calpol, he'll grow out of them, the tension headaches, just give him Calpol, give him Calpol. So that's all I had, that's the only tool I had to hand, really. And even though I wasn't massively into natural health at that point, just as a mum, that instinctively felt wrong. And I was getting really stressed about the amount of Calpol I was giving him. So I mentioned this to Vanessa, and she said, well, have you tried peppermint oil? And I was like, no, that wouldn't have crossed my mind. So she gave me a small amount, and next time he got one of these headaches, we put a drop, as she'd instructed, just across his head. And within about 5 minutes, he turned around and he was like, Mum, my headache's gone. I was like, gone? Because that never happened with the Calpol. It would just get a little bit better, after about half an hour. And he was like, yeah, it's gone. And that piqued my interest. I was like, okay, let's see what happens next time. I still wasn't convinced. The same thing happened when we used it the next time. Then my husband got a headache, and I was like, we've got to try this stuff on you. And he was really impressed too. He's like, that has really helped. I can't believe it. And that was it. Then I just got myself some oils, went to a class very much like this one, and just started experimenting and using the oils on everything that came up. And I've got 3 kids and the husband, so lots of stuff comes up. And every time I used them, I was blown away by how effective they were. So I became very passionate about sharing that with other people. I couldn't believe I hadn't known about them before. And that was it. I decided not to go back to my corporate job, and to start, sharing my passion for these oils. So here I am. That's me.
Thanks, Anna. Thank you. I should have asked you at the very beginning, does anyone mind if I record this? The reason why we're recording it is because those people that couldn't come to the class, we like to send them a recording. So does anyone oppose? Is everyone okay? Okay, thank you. So I will stop the recording at the end, and you can ask any questions if there's anything else you'd like to ask. So perfect. Thanks, Anna. So my name is Rebecca, as it says as well. I came across the oils about 5 years ago through my mum, and I have 3 children and a husband that was extremely reluctant at first. Most husbands are. Some people have lucky husbands that dive into natural medicine, but mine wasn't. But he is absolutely enamored by them now. Like Anna was saying, when you start using these oils, they work. And it's incredible how effective they are. And because they're safe as well, they've got no side effects, unlike your conventional medicine, then you can quickly become very converted and actually quite obsessed with essential oils, just to warn you. I now use these oils every single day for different reasons. I use them emotionally. I use them, physically, as cuts and grazes come up, headaches, aches, pains, but also your more serious things. My mum uses them to manage her blood pressure. My friend has used them to fix her pubic bone that was really damaged after giving birth, and she was in a wheelchair, and she used essential oils and the products to help her get back to her health. So literally, you could have any particular ailment, whether it's emotional or physical. And the point of this class is to kind of open your minds, I guess, if you don't know anything about essential oils, or if you do already, just to explain a bit more about why doTERRA's essential oils in particular are so effective, and actually the strongest form of natural medicine when it comes to plant medicine in particular. And they really are extremely effective, and we love them. And this is kind of our purpose tonight, is to empower you guys as well, so that you can start using essential oils if that's what you choose to do. I strongly suggest you do, because that's how you really start to see how effective they are. And you won't look back. It's just about taking the power back, isn't it? And not relying all the time on doctors and medications, but being able to take some of that power back and take more control over your own health. So I'm just going to share the PowerPoint with you now. I've got a little PowerPoint. So hopefully you can all see that. So sure, let's just do this. Okay, so yeah, we're about essential wellness basically. So we're talking about doTERRA are very much a wellness company. So it's about focusing on nutrition as well as what we're adding and putting into our bodies on top of that. So first of all, we'll just start from the very beginning. What is an essential oil? Now, some of you might know this already, but my background is in science. I was a science teacher for a while. So I loved finding out that essential oils are actually the immune system of the plant. So plants, have wonderful things in them, don't they? But whatever, plants need is a strong immune system. They're out in the wild and they need a strong immune system. And that's what the essential oil is. It's the concentrated immune system of the plants. It's where all its healing properties are, what it uses to fight off viruses, bacteria, fungus, pests, whatever it needs, it's in that essential oil. And we can essentially take that and extract it, and we need to do that in a very careful way so we don't damage that essential oil. But if that is done carefully, then we can literally take that essential oil, which is the immune system of the plant, and because our bodies are carbon-based, as our plants, we recognize that immune system. So we can then use that immune system to help our body fight viruses, bacteria, fungus, pests, whatever else we need to fight off. So essential oils, as I said, they're the most powerful form of plant medicine. They're roughly, depending on the plant we're talking about, they're 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. Now, my mother-in-law has been a herbalist for over 20 years, and she loved herbs, and she used to make me tinctures that used to make me want to puke, but they were very effective too, but they were very strong. And she now uses essential oils because they're so much more effective and much nicer to take as well. So they are very effective, as we said, and also they don't have the side effects that we'll have with conventional medicine and other things that we might sometimes take. The only side effects we might have, and we'll talk about this when we talk about the safety, is you might just get a slight rash. If the oil is too intense for your body and we need to use it with a carrier oil, that's the kind of side effect you're looking at with essential oils, but it will never be anything like the list you read on drugs, like liver failure or whatever else you want to read. Not very nice things to look at really, but they're very safe to use, and that's what makes them so exciting. Now, doTERRA's essential oils are different to every other essential oil that we've come across, and basically the reason being is because doTERRA's mission was to produce an essential oil that was completely as it came out of the plant. So basically nothing has been added, nothing's been taken away. It's exactly in the same form as it is in the plant. And this is so important because when it comes to essential oils, and I'll come back to this picture in a second, actually I'm going to do this one first. Unfortunately, there is no governing body out there. So there are many essential oils out there and some are purer than others. But because there's no governing body, people can put whatever they want basically on their bottles, and it doesn't have to be 100% true. So people can put 100% natural, which often happens, and then you'll read the ingredients and there's quite a few ingredients. You're like, well, what's this carrier oil doing in there? Or, there's chemicals that can often get in these essential oils, which definitely will affect the ability of these essential oils to be able to work with your body in a safe way. So not only do they make them quite unsafe to use, and that's often when people get the bad reactions they can sometimes get from essential oils. It's not always the essential oil, it's usually the toxins that are in those essential oils. And so what doTERRA realized is they wanted to make sure that they could guarantee that every single essential oil that they produced was 100% pure. And so what they did is they did their own standardization, if you like. So on every single bottle of doTERRA's essential oils, and I'm just going to find it on here. There's one of them. It's going to be very small, but in that corner here, you can probably just about see CPTG, as you can see on the screen. Now that is found on every single one of doTERRA's bottles because it is so important that we know as consumers what we're getting. And what it stands for is certified pure therapeutic grade, as it says. But what that means is where the importance lies here for us. And basically what it means is that, first of all, every single one of doTERRA's essential oils is sourced from its natural habitat. There are no greenhouses used in doTERRA. There is no forced harvesting. There is no forced growing in areas that these essential oils should not be grown. Now, this is so important when you think about the fact that the essential oil is the immune system of the plant. We really need to have it in its natural habitat to get all the healing properties that we should be able to get from these essential oils. So that's the first thing they do every single time. The other thing they do is they will safely extract the essential oils. So there's nothing going on there that's going to damage the essential oil. And then every single drop of doTERRA's essential oils will be thoroughly tested. Now, this is done both in-house and third party, and then in-house again before they're finally put into the bottles. So, you know, you can research this more, and I recommend you do. Have you got a question? Is there someone with a question? Just had a bit of noise. No. If you do something you want to research, please go on to doTERRA.com. There you go. And you can research and go into more detail about the scientific testing. That's what I'm going to mention today. But just for your information, these oils are completely pure, and we don't know any other company that does that, because the testing is obviously very expensive, and so no other company invests in their oils like doTERRA does. And it's because doTERRA, didn't want to settle for an essential oil that was going to help a little bit. They wanted to produce an essential oil that was medicinal grade and was actually going to really make a difference. And they have succeeded, and you probably noticed, I don't know, becoming more mainstream, if you like. People are starting to hear more about the effects of essential oils, and it has taken the whole essential oil world to another level. And in fact, now we have doTERRA's essential oils in over 150 hospitals in America. And this is what the essential oils now, they're not just a little kind of side on. They're actually, doctors are finding out about them, and scientists are becoming very interested and researching in great detail the effects of essential oils. Now, something I feel very passionate about as well that doTERRA do is they are very much a fair trade company. So as they source their essential oils, they will do their best to source them from developing countries so that they can give back to communities. So they work in direct partnership with the local farmers, which I just think is lovely. They don't exploit anybody. There's no middlemen. They actually pay them a very fair salary. And then through their Healing Hands charity that they have as a kind of a side on, they're able to build schools and infrastructure in those local communities. So, rest assured, the doTERRA is a very integral company right to the core. So over to Anna.
Okay, so we're now going to just run through the 3 different ways that you can use essential oils. So the first way is aromatically, and that's probably the way that most people are familiar with already. So aromatically can be using them in a diffuser. It can be using them in diffuser jewelry, like in the necklace. It can be as simple as taking the lid off a bottle and smelling it, or putting a drop in your hands and breathing it in that way. Most of you probably got to experience the peppermint and wild orange combination at the Mind Body Spirit event, just from putting a drop in your hands. So using them aromatically can be an incredibly powerful way to affect our emotions and our moods. Also, diffusing them can be a fantastic way to still affect our emotions and moods, but also to cleanse the air, so to kill any airborne pathogens. So fantastic for stopping any lurgies spreading within your home. And it's also a great way to use essential oils to clear any congestion, as you probably would have felt, again, with the peppermint at the show. And the reason essential oils are so great aromatically for affecting our moods and emotions is because everything we smell, and so all the molecules of those essential oils, go up our nose and hit what's known as our olfactory bulb, which is located just behind the bridge of our nose. And that is linked directly to the limbic area of our brain. And the limbic area of our brain is the part of our brain which is responsible for our emotions and our memories, as well as some autonomic functions. But that direct link, so everything we smell sends an absolutely immediate signal to that limbic area of our brain, and we'll have all experienced that when you smell a smell and it instantaneously and very powerfully takes us back to a particular time or person or place, that real sort of nostalgic feeling from smelling a smell, if it was your grandmother's perfume or whatever it is, and that's because of that very powerful link. So the second way we can use them is topically. So that's applying them directly to our bodies, to our skin. And that might either be in a very localized way. So for my son's headaches, for instance, we're applying the oil to the head. If you've got an upset tummy, you might rub an oil into your tummy. Cuts, grazes, obviously on the point where the injury is. Aches and pains, again, in a localized way. But you can also use them to have a more systemic effect. So this is particularly useful if you are fighting off a virus or bacterial infection, or possibly some digestive issues. So we really want the oils to be travelling around our whole body. And there are a few great places to apply them topically for a more systemic effect. One is the soles of our feet. And that's a great place to apply oils, because they go through into our bloodstream very quickly. It takes about 20 seconds only for the oils to go through the soles and into our bloodstream, and then only about another 20 to 30 minutes for them to have then travelled around our whole bodies along with our circulation, and really affect us on a whole cellular level. The other great reason for using them on the soles of our feet, which makes it a great place for using them with anyone with particularly sensitive skin or babies or children, is because we don't have any skin sensitivity on the soles of our feet. So most of us won't have any issues with using the oils on the skin anywhere on our bodies, but some people are more sensitive. So soles of the feet is a great place if you're one of those people, and definitely for babies. And then the other two places I use them systemically are the inside of your wrists and behind the ears. So those are known as your pulse points. And behind the ears, again, is linked directly to our lymphatic system and which is a great entry point for our endocrine system. So a good place to balance hormones, and again, some emotional support. And we do suggest, when you're using them topically, to dilute the essential oils. And the main reason for doing this is the oils go further. So you only need 1 or 2 drops of essential oil with a small amount of carrier oil. But B, using a carrier oil when you're using them topically stops so much evaporation. So essential oils are very volatile. They evaporate very easily. But mixing with a carrier oil holds more of that essential oil onto us, and more goes into our body. So it's a good habit to get into. And when I say carrier oil, I just mean any good quality natural plant-based oil. So doTERRA recommends fractionated coconut oil, which is a lovely oil. It has lovely effects in its own right. But olive oil, almond oil, jojoba oil, any nice plant-based oil is fine. And then the third and final way is to use them internally. And we're only talking about this when we are talking about using oils of this therapeutic grade, of this quality, and you need to be very confident in that before you do use them internally. But it can be an extremely powerful way to use the oils, again, particularly if to treat any digestive issues, or for fighting off. I always use them internally for fighting off viruses and bacterial infections. And also some nice gentle detoxing and supporting our liver and lymphatic system. So to use them internally, some of them taste delicious, like a lot of the citrus oils. So they're great to just add a drop to your water, to your smoothies, to make a nice tea. Some of them really don't taste very nice at all. We'll come on to some of those. And those I would either do in a very small amount of water or milk, almost like a shot, and just down it in one. Or you can add it to a teaspoon of honey, or you can get empty veggie capsules. doTERRA sell those as well, which is very much like what a Nurofen or something would come in, that kind of plastic coating. You just pull them apart, put a drop of the essential oil in, close it, and then you don't have to taste anything, and it gets right down into your digestive tract. So those are the 3 ways you can use them in a nutshell.
Brilliant.
And I think next we're going to cover the very few safety guidelines, and they really are, you can see you can fit it very easily on one slide because they are so safe to use, but there are a couple of things it's good to be aware of. So don't get the essential oils in your eyes, or don't pour them into your ear canal or put them up your nose. The only one that really you're going to do accidentally here is to get them in your eyes, and most of us have done it at some point or other just by having oils on our hands and then forgetting and rubbing our eye or something. It won't do any lasting damage, so don't panic, but it can be really uncomfortable. So what we would suggest, as it says there, if that does happen, don't do that instinctive thing of splashing your eye with water, which we all do when we get something in our eye, because water and oil repel each other. So what you want to do is just, again, use the carrier oil just to either on a cotton wool pad, or wash your hands with your hand, wipe it across your eye. It's going to dilute that oil and pull it out very quickly, and the discomfort will go. The other one to be aware of is photosensitivity. So just the citrus oils. Oh, here we go. There we go. Citrus oils. So it shows them there: lemon, lime, the wild orange, grapefruit, bergamot. So this only applies to citrus oils. Can cause a photosensitive reaction in the sun. So it's a good idea to just not use those on any skin that's going to be exposed to direct bright sunlight. It's very rarely an issue in this country, but when it is particularly hot, we'd recommend just avoiding those citrus oils on your face in particular, or chest, for about 12 hours before you go in the sun. Okay, I'm going to pass back to Becky now.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna. So I hope I didn't distract you with the thumbnail situation. It's only flipped up to the top of the screen. So can you see me now when I'm speaking, or is it still on? I can still only see you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I can just see the slide, and I can see, yeah, you're there on the side.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I can just see you at the moment. So, as we said kind of at the beginning, doTERRA is all about wellness, so whole wellness. So it's not just about taking essential oils, although essential oils are going to be a big part of this. It's about taking more control. And I think people are more now, aren't we? We're more aware of the different options that are out there. We're more aware of the negative side to drugs. There is a place for medication, of course, but we are aware of the side effects and perhaps the overuse of antibiotics and things like that. So it's about informed self-care, and that's kind of where we're coming in tonight, is about giving some more information about this so that you can then have a choice. But there are other things that we need to do as well to help our bodies to be able to heal themselves. Our bodies are very well equipped. They're a great fighting machine if we look after it. So part of this is to reduce our toxic load. So for me, it's been a step-by-step process, but I have now got rid of all the toxins in my home when it comes to cleaning, my toothpaste, all of these things, shampoo, conditioner, are all natural, because these things, we're absorbing them or breathing them in pretty much every day, aren't we? And that's going to affect our ability to fight off things. Also, rest and managing stress is very important. That's such a high thing these days, is stress, and we'll be talking about a few oils that can help with stress, but just kind of being aware of our own lifestyles as well, so making sure we exercise and eat healthily. So just before we go on to the essential oils that we're going to speak about tonight, I did want to touch on something that really has had a big impact on my life. And this is doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. So when I first came into doTERRA, I fell in love with the oils pretty much instantly and became obsessed overnight. And I was researching and couldn't believe all the science I was finding, which really interested me. But as I started using them, I became even more obsessed and was just loving using them with myself and my family and friends. But at the time, I was suffering from postnatal anxiety. I just had my she was about 10 months old actually at the time, but I was still, really highly anxious, and I'd never had that before in my life. So it was really something quite new to me, but pretty debilitating. And also my energy levels were just so bad. I was on borderline chronic fatigue. Everything was aching. my eyes were stinging pretty much constantly all day long. And I felt I could just drop to the floor and fall asleep, at any moment. So I just didn't feel alive. I did not feel like I was living, and I had totally lost myself, basically. Anyway, so the oils were helping. But I found out about this supplement pack, and the thing that really stood out to me was the fact that they could help with energy. So I started taking them with the hope that they would help my energy levels, because I was really desperate to have something that would help. Now, after 2 weeks of taking them, I woke up and it was like night and day. Not in terms of my energy, but in terms of my anxiety. So my anxiety had completely gone. Like it didn't feel like it was there at all, whereas I'd been used to waking up really tight and just immediately anxious before I'd even become conscious. It felt like that feeling had gone and it didn't come back, which was, it made a massive impact on my life. And then after about 6 weeks or so, my energy levels started to really significantly change. So I was noticing a difference there. Until after about 3 months, I felt like I was a normal person again, not shattered the whole time and not aching. And so this is something I really feel strongly about. And I studied nutrition for a bit before I came across doTERRA. So I am very aware of what we put into our body. But I was eating a healthy diet. And unfortunately, this is often the case. We're still getting ill. People are still suffering from depression, anxiety, lack of energy, mental fog, aches and pains. These are kind of becoming quite normal, aren't they? And it's because our body is unable to get that balance. We're not able to fight these things. And these are becoming the new normal, where we are supposed to be thriving, well into later on in life. And it doesn't feel like that anymore. And it's because our food is lacking in so many nutrients. So even if we're eating fruit and vegetables all the time and, trying to eat a complete clean diet, because the vegetables and the fruit, they just don't contain the same minerals and vitamins that they used to contain. We have to eat a whole lot more just to get, what we need. And most of us are not able to eat that much fruit and vegetables in a day. So doTERRA came up with a supplement pack to really help our body have the fighting chance that it needs, and to bring it back to that kind of base level where we can then fight things off and use the essential oils then as natural medicine as things come along. So this Vitality Pack actually works very well with the essential oils and increases the effectiveness of the essential oils. They work very well together. And I would say, they're obviously very good for more chronic conditions, but even just, for normal people that are suffering with a little bit of mental fog or just have perhaps forgotten how we're supposed to feel, I recommend trying these. It's the product in doTERRA that have a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's the only product they do this with. And that's because doTERRA feels so strongly that, this is really going to make a difference for people. They really want lots of people to try it. And because you can't test or sample it, they will stand by that. So if you do not notice a difference and you're not happy with it, after 30 days, they will give you your money back. So I'm just going to briefly tell you what's in them. They come in 3 packs. So 3 bottles come in this pack of supplements. And they're designed to work together, so synergetically. So the Alpha CRS, this is I'll go through it actually, Microplex is first, I'm jumping the gun. So the Microplex contains all your vitamins and minerals that I would say is lacking from your foods. And what is exciting about this is they do this patented process, so no one else does this, but they are able to grow these nutrients on this glycoprotein matrix, which enables us to use the minerals and vitamins, all these nutrients, in its whole food form, which is significant because that's the quickest way our body can recognize it and utilize it and make sure everything is absorbed and utilized, so nothing is wasted. So that's one thing that makes these different. Then the second bottle is the fatty acids, your omega-3s, your omega-6s. These are so important when it comes to inflammation. I'm sure you've probably heard about this, but most things, whether it's emotional, physical, the base is inflammation. So that's what we need to really keep in control in our body. And it's so important that we get the ratios correct. So that's all been done for us. And of course, they're not rancid, which a lot of omega-3s and 6s we get are. So they're coming from the bottom of the ocean and they're contaminated. and not pure, unfortunately. Whereas these omega-3s and 6s are CPTG certified, again, so completely pure and free of any contaminants. Then the other unique thing they have is they have these essential oils, so 10 essential oils within these omega-3, omega-6 kind of capsules. And these essentials have been carefully selected because of their anti-inflammatory properties and also their antioxidant properties as well, and other things as well. We're going to speak about a few of these tonight. They help to boost your immune system, just help to balance everything and repair cells if they're not functioning as they should be. So this is what also makes them very unique. And then the one I absolutely love and I felt really saved me was the Alpha CRS. Now this contains many different herbs that are there to boost your mitochondrial production. They help your body to produce the more mitochondria, that we don't produce as much as we get older, just naturally, which causes our lack of energy. Whereas if we can boost that mitochondria production, that is what makes the energy for our bodies. So that helps us to have more energy. So, as I said, and I'm just going to flick through these, really just a couple of people that we know and just have loved hearing their experiences. So, the Lifelong Vitality Pack has helped people with depression, like severe depression we're talking about, or, severe pain, tiredness, all these kind of things, but also, like I said, for just mild things as well, which we've got kind of used to just accepting, really. So now onto the essential oils. I'm just going to have a drink. So we're now going to spend the rest of the time tonight talking about the essential oils, which is obviously the focus point of tonight. Now, this is a great starter kit. So doTERRA do over 120, oils and products, blends now, and it's growing all the time. But it would be slightly overwhelming if we were to talk about all of them tonight, so we're not going to. But what they've kind of done is to help you when you first get started, because it can be slightly overwhelming, is just a real kind of basic, simple starter kit, which has kind of the essential oils that every home, if you like, needs as a medicine cabinet. So as you see, as we talk through each of these oils tonight, you'll see how they work, both individually, but also together to help with most people's common, physical or emotional ailments. And for me, certainly, this is what I started with. And, I wasn't particularly that ill, apart from anxiety and chronic fatigue. But apart from that, I didn't really feel like I get ill that much. My family didn't, but it's amazing just how much you start realizing you do need to use them. And when you have them there and you're kind of in your cupboard, it's just lovely to know that whatever comes up, you have an essential that you can use rather than having to reach for modern medication. So that's what this kit is designed to do. It's to kind of, get you into essential oils, break you in gently and help you get confidence in how to use them. But they really are the best oils as well to start with, because they're the ones you're going to use probably the most. So they are really easy to use, and please don't feel like you have to remember everything from tonight. We will send you this recording so you can watch it over and over if you'd like to. But also you've got some wonderful tools that can help you on your journey. And, I love books. I love the hard copy that I can have. Can you see my book, Anna? Yeah, you can see me. I just can't see. Yeah, fine, good. I can just see you on my screen still, so I can't see me. Yeah, this book is really helpful. So it kind of, you have a section at the beginning that you can look up any ailment, and it gives you a summary of kind of what essentials to use and how to use them. But then you can look them up in more detail, and it will tell you some more, tips about, resting or any kind of ailment. It will send you to another page, so it will give you some more instructions on how to use it. So really easy to get started with. And there's also an app. So if you're an app person, and I find this very handy to have, so when you're on the go or if you're on holiday, again, you can just look up any ailment and it'll tell you what essential oils to use. So, please don't feel like you have to learn everything in one go. It's like with everything, it's just about starting, and you just start one at a time and you get used to them very quickly. Okay, so we're going to start with lavender. This, I think, is probably quite, well known, isn't it? Most people know a little bit about lavender, and it's very good for calming. So literally anything calming, whether it's mentally, so emotionally, it's really good at de-stressing, just relaxing your whole body. Great for bedtime. I put it on the bottom of my children's feet before going to bed, about 20 minutes before going to bed, because as Anna said, that's a really safe way, first of all, for children, but also it's very quickly absorbed, and it goes around the whole body. So it's really good if you want to get it around the whole body. Also good, though, for calming the skin as well. So if you just think about this for calming, so whether it's a rash, then lavender is a great one to use, or an insect bite, wasp sting. I had a friend who had a horrific wasp sting, and she put lavender on, and pretty much within kind of seconds, the pain started to go, and within minutes, her reaction had really gone down. She was quite allergic to wasp stings, so it was a really bad one. So it visibly went down within minutes. So it's really powerful having a pure lavender, on your person. And, if you're out and about, this is definitely one that I usually take in my handbag, because if your children, or, you have a cut or a graze or anything like that, then it's a really lovely one to put onto the graze or just around the graze. And that helps it to stop it getting infected as well. So really, universal. You can use this for so many things. It's also good for blood pressure, and you can look this up on PubMed. In fact, if you are into the research, and I'm not going to mention it too much tonight because I know not everyone wants to hear all the scientific stuff, but do go onto PubMed and just look up your essential oil that you want to know more about. And there are so many tests now on all these essential oils. But yeah, lavender is just great for all those things, and just, really calming. I'm trying to think. I know
it's amazing for burns.
Yeah.
It saved me so many times. Yeah. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Thank you, Anna. Do you know, I had a severe straightener burn, which is just horrible, aren't they? I've had a couple since I've had the oils, but I've had a couple before I've had the oils as well. And before the oils, I used to get huge blisters that would last for a long time, really painful. But when I first got my first straightener burn, I put some lavender on it, and literally, again, the pain started to go. It didn't go away instantly. It was quite a painful burn, but there was no blistering or anything, and the skin healed really well. So, it's good for that as well. And also for kind of mild scars as well. So new scars, lavender is also very good for. Mm. So anything else you want to add?
And sunburn as well as normal burns. So it's great at this time of year. We used it a couple of times on people at the weekend who'd overdone the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some sunshine this year, so we might have some more. So definitely lavender's great for that. Now lemon is really detoxifying. So it's great for cleansing your body, but also you can use it to clean as well. It's antimicrobial. So this is why I've managed to get rid of some of my cleaning, all of my cleaning stuff. And I use this for kitchen surfaces generally. That's what I use this for, or windows, or kind of the shower window thing that you have. So you just can put this into a bottle with some water and put about 10 to 15 drops of lemon. And it's really effective at cleaning and getting rid of any bacteria that could be lurking on your kitchen side. And it smells really lovely, and it's uplifting. So all citrus oils are very uplifting, really energizing as well. And there's a wonderful study at Vanderbilt Hospital, which again you can look up if you'd like to. It's a hospital in America where they actually diffused lemon essential oil and other citrus oils such as lime and grapefruit. And so I'm just going to show you my diffuser here. And I did a great explanation of how you can use them aromatically. In diffusers, you can get them, over a wide area. And what they found after diffusing these for 24 hours a day for about a 3-month period, this is in the ER department, by the way, so a very highly stressful area of the hospital. The ability of the doctors to be able to cope under pressure and with stress greatly increased. And they didn't feel as stressed at all, and also the patients as well felt a lot calmer as well. So citrus oils are just great to use in the morning. So I use a drop of lemon in a glass of water in the morning, and that has kind of 3 things that it helps me with. So first of all, the lemon is going to cleanse my body from any toxins. So unfortunately, our bodies are pretty much riddled with toxins. You know, we're breathing them in all the time. And what our body does is actually surrounds those toxins with a layer of fat and kind of traps them and stops them from circulating around our body. What the lemon does is it comes in, breaks down those toxins and frees the fat that's surrounding it, and then transports the toxins safely out of our body. So that is incredible. And then also we get to lose a bit of fat as well. So lemon is a gentle weight loss as well. So another added little perk. It's not going to lose tons of weight, so don't go and drink a whole bottle. Remember, you only need 1 to 2 drops of essential oil at a time. So it cleanses you, it energizes you, and it uplifts you. So it's just a wonderful thing. If nothing else, if you started just putting 1 drop of lemon in your water every single morning, you'd begin to notice the difference. So that's something you can just start doing pretty much straight away. Now, lemon essential oil, as opposed to fresh lemon, is a lot better for you. Firstly, because it's not acidic. With the fresh lemon is acidic. This is actually alkaline, so it doesn't affect the enamel on your teeth, which is brilliant. But also, as we said at the beginning, you know, the essential has all the healing properties of the plant, and this has been extracted from the plant and is exactly in the same form as it was in the plant. So it's a lot more potent, and we've got a lot more healing properties than if we have a slice of lemon, which is, by the time it gets into our glass, is pretty depleted of any nutrients. So that's what I'm going to say about lemon.
Well, Becky, just remember that if you are going to drink it, to make sure you do drink it from a glass or a mug, and a ceramic, metal, anything. Just don't add a drop to like your Evian bottle of Evian or something, because it's so effective at pulling out petrochemicals, which is great when it's doing it in our body, not so great when it's pulling them out of the plastic and then you're drinking it. So just stick to drinking it from glass.
Great point. Thanks, Anna. Okay, so peppermint. This is one of my favourites. I do this every single morning. So I hope you all did have that peppermint experience with the wild orange at the show. Because if you haven't, you really need to get hold of some peppermint pretty quickly and try it, because it's just an incredible experience. So 1 drop of doTERRA's peppermint is the same as 28 cups of peppermint tea. That's the potency of these oils. And what it does, that peppermint essential oil in the morning, for me, it really wakes me up, really gets the oxygen going into my brain more and really wakes everything up and helps me to focus and feel energized for the day. It's also very good at cooling the body down in a very natural way. So yes, it can just be simply used if you're having a bit of a hot flush, or in the summertime, if you're feeling a bit hot, you could just put a drop of peppermint perhaps behind your ears or on your wrist points here, is what I generally would do with peppermint. But also how I've used it with great effect is with my children. So when they have a temperature, they have a really high fever, then obviously I want to bring that down, even though I know the fever is helping, the body is actually fighting whatever that's fighting. So I don't want to completely get rid of the fever, but peppermint will help to safely bring it down so it's not at a dangerous level. And all I do is I just put some carrier oil up my child's spine, because peppermint, can be one of those that you need to use a carrier oil with. So I recommend using it, especially with children. And just putting 1 drop up the spine of your child. Now, if it's the baby, then I'd suggest doing it on the bottom of the feet, or really heavily diluting the essential oil, and you can put it up the spine then. But within minutes of doing this, the fever just really comes down. So it's one of my favorites because of that, really, because it's just helped me on quite a few occasions in that situation. It's also very good for headaches, particularly stressful headaches. So it's good at easing tension. And I tend to put it, if I'm getting kind of a stress headache that builds at the back of my neck, I'll just put it here on the back of my neck. Or perhaps you could put it on your forehead if that's where you felt the headache was. People often find combined with lavender is the best for that, but you can use it on its own as well. And it's also good for muscles as well, kind of helping to relax muscles. And of course, it's good for indigestion, which we'll come on to a bit more in another blend that doTERRA do. So many uses of peppermint. Now, with the 3 that I've just spoken about, so the lavender, lemon, and peppermint, you can actually combine to make the antihistamine blend. So if you suffer from hay fever or any type of allergic reaction, then those are the 3 you're looking for. And it will tell you this on the app or in the book as well. But you'd perhaps just put a drop of each in some water if you've got mild hay fever, and you could drink that, or 2 drops if you're more severe hay fever. So you can just put that in. And again, with the essential oils, you kind of start to learn how they work with your body. So you start small and then just keep using them every 2 hours as needed. And sometimes you need to increase the dosage slightly. But start with the 1 to 2 drops, and then you can increase the dosage. But that is incredible for hay fever, really good. And my husband actually has really allergic reactions to insect bites. And he had this horrific bite, and that his leg was like within kind of minutes again, just swelling, to double, triple the size, really swelling. And he was panicking a bit, and this was before he really believed in the oils. So I put a drop of each, just rubbed it onto the area of the bite, and then I got him to take some internally as well. So just 1 to 2 drops of each internally, and pretty much within 5 minutes, his leg had returned back to normal. So really, really fast acting. So that's peppermint, and I'm going to hand over to Anna if you want to add anything about that, and then continue with the rest of the oils.
Only that I've used the same thing for my friend, my best friend, who is really allergic to cats. She's got a severe cat allergy, and we've got a cat. So I always used to have to go to her house because she couldn't come around here because of the cat. And then when I got the oils, I said, why don't you just come over and we'll just try and see if this allergy blend works. And yeah, she was absolutely fine. She stayed the whole evening just from having a drop of each. So cat allergies too, not just hay fever. Yeah, that's good.
Brilliant. Thank you, Anna. Okay, I'll move on to the next slide for you.
Okay, so this slide is just to give you a visual representation of another fantastic thing about essential oils. So if we go to the doctor and we say that we have got a bacterial infection, or they deduce that we have a bacterial infection, they will prescribe, more often than not, antibiotics or antibacterial medications. And putting aside all the issues there are with taking antibiotics, they can at least, on occasion, kill off that bacterial infection for us. However, if we go to a doctor and say we have a viral infection, or they deduce we have a viral infection, what do they say? Nothing they can do, right? Go home, drink some water, rest. Their hands are tied. There's not much they can do for us. And the reason that is because viruses tend to live within our cells and bacteria on the outside of our cells, like you can see in the picture. And our cells are encased in an oil-based membrane. So antibiotics, as with a lot of conventional medications, are water-based. So that means whilst they can get to those bacteria on the outside of our cells, they can't get to the virus because they're water. They cannot penetrate that oil-based membrane. We're back to the water and oil repelling each other. However, essential oils have no problem dealing with bacteria. So antibacterial essential oils have no problem dealing with bacterial infections, but they also, because they're oil-based and lipid-soluble, have no problem penetrating that oily membrane and also dealing with viruses inside our cells. So this is a fantastic thing to know and to have to hand, because it's not even just when we're ill. There are several things, I'll mention some of them, that have a virus base, which means that modern medication finds it very difficult to deal with them. So we'll come on to some of those as well. Okay, so we're going to start with a blend called On Guard. So as well as doing all of these beautiful single oils, doTERRA also do these proprietary blends. So we're not all aromatherapists. We don't all know exactly how to blend oils and what we should use with what. So doTERRA make it really easy for us with these blends. So On Guard, and I wish you could smell it, it's one of my favourites. If you just sort of imagine Christmassy mulled wine spices, that's kind of the smell of On Guard. It's got cinnamon and clove and orange and eucalyptus. Smells delicious. And those oils are chosen for their powerful antimicrobial properties, and they're also their ability to boost our immune response. So this is a fantastic oil to take if you feel you're coming down with something. So this is when I mainly use it. Anyone in the family and myself just start getting that little tickle in the throat, or that slightly achy feeling, shivery, you know something's coming. It's either a cold or flu. At that point, I on guard the heck out of it. And every time I've done that, we've won the battle. The next day, there's no cold, there's no flu, and it blows me away every time. But it really is one of my favourite ones. So how I would use it in that situation is I would put a drop in a very small amount of water. It's a strong taste because of the cloves, so it's not one I drink lots of. Small amount of water. I gargle it for about a minute, and then I'll swallow it. And I'll do that every 2 to 3 hours on that first day when I'm feeling like I'm getting something. And usually that is enough to fight it off. Very powerful. And I'll also diffuse it. I love diffusing it anyway, just because it smells so lovely. And then it's going to protect everyone else, stop that lurgy, whatever it is, spreading around between you, and give everyone that added protection. It's also another one that's great, like as with the lemon, to use to make your own natural cleaning products because of those high antimicrobial, antibacterial properties. And because of the clove, it's a great one for any oral issues. So things like cold sores, ulcers, gum infections, toothache, all of those things it could be fantastic for, just dotting it on there. And just going back, if it was my youngest child, who's only 4, who was feeling like she's coming down with something, again, I'd be rubbing it on the soles of her feet, whereas my 2 older boys, who are teenagers, are happy to do the gargling and swallow. I think it's quite fun to pretend to be doing shots. And actually doTERRA also do this one in a ready-to-take soft gel format, so that they're really handy as well. Okay, it's great to take when you're getting on a plane. That's another time when I love taking it. We often get lurgies. Planes are so full of all sorts of horrible germs floating around, aren't they? And so often we used to get off a flight, and within the next 2 or 3 days on holiday, you'd come down with something, or when you came home. So a great one to take as a preventative in that situation, I find. Or a natural antibacterial as well, just rubbing it back on your hands. Melaleuca. So most of you will actually be very familiar with this oil, even though you might not know it from the name, because Melaleuca is better known as tea tree oil, which I'm sure you are all familiar with. So it's got quite an antiseptic-y smell to me, quite a medicinal smell. And it's very high in, again, antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. So fantastic for using like you would a TCP or an antiseptic. So any cuts or grazes, any kind of skin infections, Melaleuca is great for. Aborigines, this is from Australia, and Aborigines have been using Melaleuca for forever. They've been well versed in its incredibly powerful healing properties for the skin. Also great for, because of the antifungal properties, great for any conditions such as athlete's foot, fungal toenail, ringworm. Also, people find it very helpful. I absolutely love adding a drop to my shampoo for sort of itchy, flaky scalp, dandruff, which I can suffer from a bit. And this Melaleuca has completely cleared that up. So I just add a drop to my natural shampoo every time I use it, every time I wash my hair, sorry. And it also has the added benefit of being a very effective head lice repellent. So for anyone with small children who are at that age where they get it, again, it's great to add. I always add a drop to my daughter's shampoo if I get that note home, or there's a sign goes up in the nursery that they've had a case of head lice, and she hasn't had it once. Good for sore throats. So again, you can gargle that for sore throat. Even adding it to the On Guard for additional lurgy fighting properties is good too. That's kind of how I use Melaleuca. Oregano. Okay, so oregano is not one I use. I don't think anyone would probably use this on a daily basis. But when you need it, it's amazing. I think of it as like bringing out the big guns. It's an incredibly powerful oil. It's also one of the oils that's known as a hot oil. So this is one you would always dilute if you're going to use it topically. And if you're going to take it internally, be a bit careful. I'd dilute it in a bit of milk, or I'd take it in a capsule. It's not doing any harm, but if you get it on your skin or on your lip or something, it feels very much like you've rubbed a raw chili there. So it's in that kind of, it's not going to hurt you, but you'll feel it. So I would always dilute this oil. This has incredibly, again, very powerful antifungal properties and antibacterial, antiviral, but also natural antibiotic properties. So where we showed that slide a bit earlier of oils being able to penetrate our cells, this is a fantastic one to use for fighting any infections. So whether they're bacterial or viral, so chest infections, bladder infections, again, flu, really any kind of infection in our body, oregano can be very powerful for. And I would treat it as if you were taking a course of antibiotics. So use it sort of 3 or 4 times a day, just 1 drop, and use it for about a week, certainly no longer than 10 days. Personally, I've never known anyone need to use it for longer than 3 days, but it's because it's so powerful, you don't want to overuse this oil. It's think of it as very much as plant-based medicine, but it really can sort some quite hardcore stuff out. Another thing it's great for is doing a gastrointestinal cleanse. There's very powerful anti-parasitic properties as well as incredibly high antioxidants. So forget blueberries, oregano is right up there at the top of the scale of antioxidants. So yeah, some people literally just take it for a couple of days once every few months just to do a cleanse. But certainly if you're suspicious you've got any type of parasite or candida, again, which is a fungal issue and is very common, cause lots of issues, oregano's your man or your person, your oil. And then again, as we talked about with the some other things apart from viral illnesses having a viral root, are things such as warts, verrucas, skin tags, and then something called molluscum contagium, which you may be familiar with if you've got young children. It's very common. So all of those things, again, are things that the modern medical community find very, very difficult to treat. I've known people who've had verrucas for several years. They've had them frozen off. They've used even surgery to remove them, and it hasn't worked, and they've come back. But then they've tried the oregano oil, and they've gone within a week, maybe 10 days, and never come back. And they literally cannot believe it. But it's for that same reason, is that it's treating the viral root, which modern medicine finds very difficult to do. I've actually got a story of oregano with my husband. So this was right at the beginning when I was super excited about trying every oil. And like I said, don't get the chance to use oregano that often. But I'd read that it was good for getting rid of skin tags. And my husband had a skin tag, quite a sizable one on the back of his neck. Obviously, they're completely harmless, and it didn't bother him at all that it was there. But I was like, oh, will you just please let me try and see if the oregano gets rid of it? Because I've heard it can. So he agreed under a bit of duress. And because I was so new, I did actually forget about the dilution. So I dotted it, splodged it straight on, and he shot out of his chair. What are you doing to me? Because it did feel quite uncomfortable. Anyway, after that, I did remember the dilution and dotted it on twice a day. And then I think nothing looked like it was happening. Then on about the 9th day, it started to look irritated. Next day, it went black. Day after that, it just dropped off. And it's never come back, no scarring, nothing. So yeah, I was like, and even I think that was the start of him being like, okay, yeah, these are quite powerful substances. So there you go, that's my oregano story.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I'll just really tell one quickly. My daughter, my 9-year-old, just had like a massive wart. It was, really, really quite big on her knee. and it started multiplying. So there was about 8 little ones around it. And you know, I was like teaching about these oils every day, and I was like, and then Sophia was like, Mum, can you use oregano on my wart? And I was like, yes, of course. Yeah, gosh, I've got to remember to do that. So she'd had it for about a couple of months, actually. We hadn't done anything about it. And then thanks to Sophia's reminder, we started using the oregano on it. And I just put some carrier oil on first, and then just put oregano straight on top of the big one, then on the little ones. And it is amazing. Like literally a week, dramatic difference. But now it's been about 2.5 weeks. And I was looking at it today, and it's pretty much completely gone. Like a tiny, tiny little mark left. So I'll just continue using it probably for another week, because it was such a big one. But, you know, it's just amazing, because my friends at school, they have kids with warts, and, you know, it's quite embarrassing, isn't it, for them? And they'll go to the doctors and have them frozen or whatever they do, and use other gel stuff. But it doesn't do it often, you know, it really doesn't work. And this is so fast acting and safe as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, really good. I've actually introduced a podiatrist, came to one of my classes, and I mentioned this oregano and verrucas. And he now just gives his clients little samples of oregano oil, doesn't give them any of the modern stuff. He's found it so much more effective than anything he'd used before.
Wow, it's amazing.
Okay, Deep Blue. So this is another one of doTERRA's lovely blends. And this is one you'll see, if you probably may or may not be able to see from the picture, but it has a different type of lid. It has a childproof lid, and that's because this is one of the few oils or blends that doTERRA suggests you don't take internally. It's not for that. And that's simply because it's got an oil in called wintergreen, which for most of us would be absolutely fine internally, but it's a bit like similar natural compound to aspirin. Mm-hmm. So if anyone was on blood thinners, then it could be an issue. So this is not one you take internally, but it's not one you'd need to anyway. It's for muscle and joint support, and it's fantastic for any muscle and joint issues. So whether that's just, you know, that tension we all carry in our shoulders, whether it's because you've done too much exercise and you've got those really achy muscles. That's not one I usually suffer from, too much exercise, but some of you might. It makes a lovely massage oil, but also for some more serious issues. So my dad, for instance, absolutely swears by this blend for, he gets really nasty arthritis in his joints in his hands. So much so they really swell up, and he can almost not bend his fingers, but he just massages in this blend, and it's so fast, it's literally within 5 minutes the swelling goes down, and he can bend those fingers again. So this has got a blend of about 9 oils. Oil is actually blue if you look at it, because it's got an oil called Blue Tansy and another one called Blue Chamomile, along with the wintergreen and peppermint and camphor. But they're chosen for their anti-inflammatory and analgesic pain-relieving properties. Also great for carpal tunnel syndrome. Mm-hmm. What else? Migraines. A lot of people find this really effective for migraine relief. So again, rubbing it on the forehead and again back of the neck. And I know a lot of people say actually that in combination with a drop of frankincense to the roof of your mouth, which we're going to come on to in a bit, the frankincense. And I love this one for menstrual pain. I find this incredibly helpful for menstrual pain as well, just massaging it over my abdomen. So yeah,
so growing pains for children as well. I used it a lot on 2 of my girls. One girl doesn't have it at all. The other 2 really suffer quite badly with it. So I'll just put some carrier oil, then 1 drop of this, and rub it into their legs is where they get it. And it really, really helps, and they go back to sleep. So it's good for that too. Okay, Breathe. So pretty self-explanatory what this is for. Breathe is for the respiratory system. So this can be just if you've just got general congestion because you've got a cold or you're bunged up, or more serious like long-term sinus issues or sinusitis. This is great for anything that involves sort of clearing the airways and making it easier to breathe. So personally in our house, this has been great when anyone's got a cold, particularly when my daughter was too young to sort of be able to blow her nose by herself.
and she'd have a cold. It means no one sleeps at that age, doesn't it? So being able to diffuse this blend in her room meant she slept, we all slept. Loved it at that point. But also my eldest son has always suffered from asthma quite severely, and he'd been using inhalers sort of 6 to 8 times a day, I'd say, on average. And then we started just rubbing a drop of the Breathe, again with the carrier oil, into his chest and on his back over the lung area, sort of a few times a day. And after about 2 weeks of doing that regularly, I'd say he was barely using his inhaler. I mean, he always still had it with him, of course, but I'd say he was maybe using it more like 2 or 3 times a week. So it made a huge difference for him, and a sort of a cumulative effect as well, which can often be the case with these oils, is you need to use them for a while and you'll start noticing a difference more and more. Often it's immediate, sometimes it's accumulative for more chronic conditions. Snoring. This is something I personally, I'm quite lucky with. My husband's not a bad snorer, but we have a lot of happy women with this blend who say it's great. Again, either diffusing it, potentially applying it across the sinus area or under the nose, or some people say even on the big toe, which sounds a bit weird, but apparently that is like the reflex point for the sinuses. So worth a try. So that's Breathe. Zengest. This is a fantastic blend, and one that Becky mentioned earlier when we were talking about peppermint. So this is a blend of all of the oils that are chosen to have a very soothing effect on our digestive system. So oils such as peppermint, but also ginger, fennel, tarragon, star anise. So it's got quite an aniseedy smell, I would say, and you maybe smell the fennel a bit too. It smells a bit like Pernod to me. But fantastic for any digestive issues from right at the top of your digestive tract, so whether that's indigestion, heartburn, acid reflux, those type of things, all the way down to the lower digestive tract, so upset tummies, nausea, travel sickness, or diarrhea at one end of the spectrum all the way to constipation at the other. And that is another fantastic thing about using essential oils. There are a lot of fantastic things, you're probably getting that picture now, but is that they work by bringing our body back into balance. So they're supporting our body to do the healing and to do the work. So that's why you use exactly the same blend whether you are constipated or have diarrhea. Again, they're going to bring your body back into a state of balance. So this is a great one for anyone that has any digestive issues, or even just the rest of us, just to have on hand, particularly if you're traveling and you're eating food you're not used to. I often rub a drop into my daughter often says she's got a tummy ache. I don't know if it's anxiety or what, but she'll say that quite regularly. But just being able to rub a drop of this into her tummy, around her tummy button, is almost instant every time. It really sorts her out. My husband swears by this for indigestion. Again, really fast. He's lazy. He just does drop into his mouth like that. But yeah, really, really effective for any digestive issues.
Okay, so this is the last essential oil we're going to talk about that also comes in that starter kit that we mentioned. So frankincense. I don't know what you've heard about frankincense, but this is called the king of oils, and for a very good reason. So frankincense has such a wide chemistry that's able to help with many things. So literally, I got told this, and it says up on the screen here, that if you are in doubt, you can use frankincense because it will just help with so many different things. Now, one of its main properties though is with inflammation. So it's really good at bringing down any kind of inflammation. Now, what is quite exciting about frankincense, or very exciting, is it's one of the few things that can actually pass the blood-brain barrier physically. So this is very significant because lots of medications cannot enter the brain physically, and also lots of essential oils can't, whereas frankincense can. The whole of it can get into your brain. Now this is really significant because then it can act to bring down inflammation within the brain. So if you think of things that are occurring in the brain, such as your more severe mental illnesses or depression, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, anything, autism, ADHD, these kind of things which are, centered in the brain. Frankincense has had great results in helping. So again, please look up frankincense. If any of those things interest you, do your own research and find out more about how frankincense helps with those conditions. It's also a beautifying oil. So on a bit more of a superficial level, it can really help with anti-aging. So it really helps with the skin. So skin repair. So it's good for long time scarring even. So lavender is very good for kind of fresh scarring and cuts. Whereas frankincense can really help with, pre and post surgery, but also scars that you've perhaps had for a long time, or sunspots, any kind of blemishes on your skin or marks that you want to try and get rid of. Frankincense is the one that will do that over time. So you need to use it consistently once a day. And it is a very mild essential oil as well. So generally speaking, people are fine to use this neat on their skin. But again, just do a test on the bottom of your feet just to make sure. So as I said, it's really good for inflammation. It's great for immune support, really good at boosting your immune system. And it's also very good at helping you to cope with stress, so emotional support, not just for severe mental illnesses, but just for like mild anxiety or just feeling a bit low. It's really good at, helping you to lift your mood as well. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing and then another last thing. Frankincense is great also when used with the other essential oils because it enhances the effects of the other oils up to 10 times. So when you've got a serious condition, you'll want to use frankincense alongside the other oil to increase its effectiveness. So an example of this, my Sienna, so she's now 7, but she was 5 at the time. It was quite early on in my oil usage. She woke up one night with this horrific rash. Like it was blotchy, it was fiery, it was raised, it was covering her whole body. And we had no idea what had caused it. And she was crying, couldn't get back to sleep. So I looked it up in my book at the time, and it said to use frankincense and lavender. So I just made up a little spray bottle with some coconut oil in and some, I think probably about 5 drops each of frankincense and lavender, something like that, and sprayed her whole body down. And within minutes, like literally 3-4 minutes, like, you've heard a lot tonight, it's very fast acting. The fire literally came out of the rash. Like I visibly saw it. It was getting so much milder right in front of our eyes. And she started to calm down and she was able to then go to sleep after about 10-15 minutes and woke up the next morning and the rash had completely gone. So frankincense, I'm so thankful to have and so grateful to have in our home because you really just don't know when you're going to need it. And it really is one of those essential oils that has just remarkable results, and again, quite quickly. The last thing I'm going to mention about frankincense, and if this does interest you, then I really recommend you go and do your own research because I can't make any claims here. But there is a lot of research showing the effects of frankincense at killing cancer. Now, cancer is becoming more and more rife, isn't it? And, people are looking to alternative things as well to help with cancer. And frankincense is shown to kill cancer cells, just targeting cancer cells by a process called apoptosis. So which is programmed cell death. So basically gets the cancer to commit suicide, but doesn't affect the surrounding cells in that way. So please do look into that. There is just so much research into frankincense and its effects on cancer. Okay, so we've now come to the end of our presentation. So I will just explain briefly how you can purchase some oils if you would like to, and then I'll stop the recording, and then if there's any questions you have, then you can ask them freely without, having it being recorded if you'd like to. So as I said at the beginning, basically I've been using these now for over 4 years, and the best way to really feel the benefits obviously is to just start using them yourself. And the starter kits are a really good place to start because you get to save quite a bit of money. So I'm just going to explain the 3 different ways you can purchase the oils. So the first way is retail. So you can buy a single oil at retail cost, which is full cost. So the most expensive way to get your oils. So I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that. But what doTERRA do offer is everybody the chance to get your own wholesale membership. So you just become a wholesale customer where you purchase your oils at 25% off the retail price. So it works a bit like a Costco card. So like with Costco, you go and buy your membership. So doTERRA membership is £24 for the year. If you want to renew it at the end of the year, it's only £14, and you get a free peppermint essential oil, which is worth £18 roughly. So that takes away that renewal fee. But yeah, so it's once you've got your membership, you can then purchase as and when you want to on your own account. It's all done online at that point, and it gets sent to your home. You get 25% off. So it's the most cost-effective way of getting your oils. Now, what they do for you when you first start and open a membership is they do another offer, so another level of an offer, which is where they've done these starter kits. So you can purchase a starter kit, which already is going to save you quite a bit of money, but they also include the membership. So this starter kit here is the kind of the smaller starter kit, and it looks like this, is in the picture. Actually, they've just changed the packaging, so I think you're going to get the new packaging. But in this kit here, you get the 10 core oils that we spoke about tonight, but they're only 5 ml bottles. I haven't got a 5. Oh, I do have a 5 ml, of course I do, in here. So 5 ml bottles. So in the 5 ml bottles, you get about 80 drops of essential oil. So you'll get 10, all the essentials we spoke about tonight, and you get the membership for £115.20, and that includes the shipping as well. Now, the more cost-effective way of doing that, and what I purchased at the beginning, is the next level up, which is the Home Essentials Kit, which is the same 10 core oils, but instead of 5 ml bottles, you actually get 15 ml bottles. So for just twice the price, you get 3 times the amount of oil, and you get a free diffuser as well. And occasionally they do offers on top of that. And this month they're doing an offer where if you purchase this kit, you also get the On Guard toothpaste, which is a lovely toothpaste. So it's a chemical-free, fluoride-free toothpaste. And you get an extra On Guard, which is always handy. So a 15 ml bottle of On Guard. And you get some On Guard kind of sore throat sweets as well that are nice and natural, and they'll great to suck if you've got a cold or something. So you get, I think that works out to be about £60-70 worth of free products, and that's just for this month. So you need to purchase that in this month, and you'll get that as well. So that all comes for the price of £226.80. So it includes the enrolment fee again. One other kit I'll just mention, just in case you wanted to get the Lifelong Vitality at the same time as getting some oils. And this kit comes with the On Guard toothpaste in the kit and some On Guard hand wash as well. There's a whole On Guard range. And then there's soft gels that Anna mentioned that have the On Guard in it that you can take to boost your immune system. So that's another nice starter kit that people like to start with sometimes. And this kit would also qualify you for the free products as well that's on offer this month. So the extra toothpaste and the extra On Guard and the extra On Guard sweet things. Now there are larger kits as well. So if you're interested in that, obviously the larger the kit, you save more money. But these are generally, what people like to start with. Now, if you do decide you want to purchase some oils, whether it's some single oils, if you want to purchase a kit, then you can just let the person know who's invited you to this webinar, but also we'll send you a follow-up email after this with some information on it. So some sites you can kind of go and look at, a few videos, a recipe, chocolate recipe with the essential oils, and it's just a few extra little things you can have a look at. But also attached to that email you'll have an online enrollment form. So basically, if you want to become a member of doTERRA, you just need to fill out that enrolment form and say what you would like, and then send it back to us, and we'll make sure the person who you spoke to at the show gets it. And basically, we'll open your membership for you. So we do the initial opening of your membership, and then after that, it's direct with you and doTERRA. So you order everything then from your own account through doTERRA. And what we'll do is the person who spoke to you at the show will probably be the one who will then take you through your first few steps. So you're not just left, part of our our job, we take very seriously, is to help you guys get started with the essential oils, and we want to make sure that you're confident. So we'll set up a time when we can have a consultation, a one-on-one consultation with you, when we can help to show you your account more as well, but actually focus on the oils that you want to start using, and just making sure you know how to use them, and, you know, tell you about the resources that you might want to get, like the book or the app. We also have Facebook groups that we'll invite you to, and when you have your own account, we do continued education classes if you're interested, you know, again online, where we can teach you about cleaning with essential oils or cooking, or we do a class on emotions and the essential oils. So it really is about a lifestyle change, and that's what we're inviting, you know, you to do, is to take this first step really and start using essential oils, and I promise you, you won't look back. It's incredible, but we'll take you through the different steps as and when you're ready for them. So there we go, that's the end of the presentation. I'm just going to stop sharing and stop the video just to see if there's any